Alright, everybody, welcome to week number 2. And before we get into anything, I have my own number 2 to handle. Alright, for this section, we're talking about all the mistakes that I've made so far in trying to make FitNex apparel actually, people want to buy it. Because nobody bought it, really. So, how do you make people buy your stuff from someone who has not had anyone buy his stuff yet? So, alright, so the biggest mistake that I made was having zero brand associated with FitNex in the merch. So I kind of just made stuff, I was like, this looks sick, people are going to buy it. Surprisingly, nobody bought it, right? Because you have to have some type of meaning attached to your clothing. There are a million clothing brands out there. You have for example, I think a good one's like Alo, like ALO, right? They literally just have 3 letters on other clothing. I'm sure they have some graphic stuff, but they might, honestly, it doesn't look sick in a sense where it's like, oh, that's an awesome design, right? It's just the text, right? But then what they do is they associate their brand with a higher echelon of fitness and being if you're wearing Alo, you're serious about lifting, right? It's fancy. I guess they're kind of fancier, higher end. So if you're wearing Alo while you're working out, it's oh, I have this higher status. I don't really know the stuff of Alo, but that's what I mean, right? So when you buy Alo, you feel a certain way, right? Even though it's just 3 letters. But you look like Gymshark, where you have David Lade, for example. You see David Lade wearing Gymshark and he's jacked, and you're like, oh, I want to be like David Lade. He takes it serious, right? I feel like I probably should wear the same clothes he's wearing if I want to be serious about the gym. So you kind of when you wear the clothes, there's some meaning behind it and you feel something. So you feel a certain way. So the clothing makes you either feel like you're in the gym, it represents something. So the clothing has to mean something. If it doesn't mean something, nobody's gonna care. Because it looking cool, there are a million companies who have cool looking stuff, right? They're not gonna be any different. So you have to associate a emotion and a feeling with your brand. That keeps people coming back too. So if they wear let's do this here, right? So let's say there's a person, right? Then they don't have any of your clothing. They see your brand, and your brand makes them feel a certain way. So every time they buy your brand, they feel that emotion that your brand gets, and so then they want to feel that emotion again, so they'll buy your next drop, and so on and so on. So then you kind of have a repeating customer. So if your brand makes someone feel, I've said this 8 times, I'm sorry, but they want to feel something is pretty much what I'm saying. And I did not do that. So with this next drop that we're doing, I'm calling it the You Can Do This drop. But what I'm doing on top of that is all the merch says you can't do this. So I can't really see it on this shirt. All the merch says you can't do this. Now, I have a number of reasons for doing that because, first of all, you can't is kind of a attention getter, because how many merch companies have you can't do this? So that's kind of another thing, but whatever. But it's pretty much the company motto and the company brand is it's actually possible, right? So whatever your dreams are, whatever your goals are, the more you pursue your dreams over time, they become more and more realistic. And I truly believe that you can do anything you want to do, provided that you just keep pushing at it. And that's kind of what the motto is with this brand drop, is you can do this. Your dreams are actually possible. So when people wear the new FitNex merch, it is associated with the feeling of chasing your dreams and doing super hard stuff. So you kind of feel like it means more, right? Now you can't just have a brand. Obviously you need ambassadors, like David Lade, for example, to kind of reinforce that. This could be an ambassador. You have different ads and that kind of thing. But pretty much that's what a brand is you have a product, you have a message behind the product, you have a feeling someone can feel when they buy your product, and then that makes them want to keep doing it over and over again. Sorry if that's a bad explanation, but that's kind of what I want to do with this next drop. And that's what I didn't do before. That's why no one bought it before. So pretty much that's it. All right, for our next one is print on demand. This isn't a mistake that I've made. It's just kind of something I did from the beginning that I definitely would suggest. So what is print on demand, right? So print on demand is you have a manufacturer who makes all the stuff, but they also ship all the stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. They hold all your inventory, so you don't have to worry about that. So you pretty much have one resource that handles all your stuff. So all you got to do is handle and administer it, right? So what's nice about that is since they have all the inventory, I don't have to hold any inventory. So my house isn't stacked to the brim with a bunch of merch, right? And that's really nice because let's say this first merch shop that I had, nobody really bought anything. So if I went and spent $10K on a bunch of merch and inventory, it would just be sitting in my house. Nobody bought it. I would have lost so much money. But with print on demand, if someone buys it, then then you pay for the manufacturing, you pay for the inventory, and then you sell it, right? So you don't really lose any money if no one bought anything. So that's why I would super highly suggest print on demand. So I use TapStitch. There's a bunch of other ones you can use. They're really nice. And what's nice about TapStitch, at least they hook up to the Shopify store directly, so it's really easy to set everything up. So yeah, that's this one. The last one is just, it costs a lot of money and you gotta be careful with what you're spending, right? So for me, example, I wanna do a lot of advertising. So I can't toss all the money into having a bunch of different designs and a bunch of different variations. So if you have to cut down on designs or you have to cut down on like color variations, that kind of thing, go ahead and do it, right? Because, it's better to have like a solid product that has maybe one or two colors opposed to having like a bunch of stuff where you spend thousands of dollars on getting all these color variations and then your budget for marketing is zero, right? Because, if nobody knows about your clothing brand, even if you have an amazing clothes and a great brand, you have to do the marketing to promote it. So I have to have money set aside for that. So pretty much be careful. This stuff can add up really quickly. Even for the samples, I think I've spent $400 in samples over the past like month or so. So just like watch it. That's kind of all the advice I have for today. Yeah, bye. All right, the tester program. That's an eagle my mom painted. Pretty sick eagle. Yeah, so tester program. Why am I doing a FitNext tester program? So the main point of the tester program is to get people on and using it and to actually test, right? So how do you make a software people actually like is actually genuinely helpful to the fitness community, right? You have people use it and they tell you why it sucks, right? So the whole point of tester program is being like, hey, this flow isn't nice, this is irritating to me, or this is annoying, or we want this feature that's actually helpful. So the more feedback I can get, the more I can improve the product, and the stronger product I have is actually people like it and they want to use it, and surprisingly, a good product is really good for the company. So I really want to create something people actually want to use and is genuinely helpful. So a tester program is a great way to kind of get the best we can when we first launch. So that's the plan for that. But it also, what it does is it really helps us with early marketing, right? So, if you're a tester and you're using it, you've given feedback and that kind of stuff, you're more likely to become a dedicated user going forward, right? So we're giving testers everything for free. So, but like over time, they use it, they like it, they tell their friends about it. It helps us a lot of organic word of mouth. So it's a great way to kind of get like our first 50 people on FitNext. And if I have 50 people on FitNext, then I can probably turn that into 100 and then 200 and so on, get that ball rolling. So that's a great way to do the early marketing. So how am I actually getting testers is the bigger question. So number one, I'm just cold calling gyms and I'm seeing if I can do partnerships, right? So I give their entire gym FitNext for free. They sign up for tester program. And so I have to plan out the whole partnership thing. I haven't done it yet, but I am doing some cold calls today. So maybe I'll record some of that, but that's the one way we're doing that. Another one's just friends, my personal network, telling my friends about it, telling their friends to tell about it. And my last method is going to be DMing people. So I'm going to DM like personal trainers and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's the plan. So let's get to it. All right, so I officially launched like FitNext in the next like 3 months. So in terms of like the brand launch, the software launch, and the next You Can Do This merch drop. So everything is getting like pushed in 3 months. So the month prior to that, I'm doing a heavy marketing push. So there's a lot of content that I have like wrapped around that. So I'm talking like social media. So we have cinematic videos, we have ads, we have short form content, we have individual posts, reels, carousels, everything, right? I have to prep all of that for the next 3 months. Also some additional like in-person marketing and then like word of mouth marketing, stuff like that we're doing. But yeah, so pretty much I have to start filming a lot of stuff. So here, week one was the start of that.